Hello. I'm gonna wait a little bit and make sure everybody is on who wants to be on with us. It has been forever since we've done one of these, and I'm so excited to be doing this for all of you. It's funny, I got called to do this. I don't even know what we're doing. I got called to do this on Monday, and I debated doing it, and then on Tuesday, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So, a little bit short notice, but we'll see how this plays out. I just recorded the collective 2025 year ahead reading today, which was huge. It was really interesting how this repeating message of even though it looks so chaotic and destructive on the surface, that there is so much that is happening energetically, and it really depends on our perspective, and it really depends on us to shift that, to shift what we're seeing, to really hold that light and hold that energy. But it's not just about holding that light and holding that energy anymore. It's also about our activism. What are we doing with that energy? What are we doing with this wisdom? Now, what are we doing with this knowledge? What are we doing with all these resources, these spiritual resources that we have? That's what it's about too. And so I want to do a little bit of channeling on like current events and this ascension energy. And I also want to do kind of like a sacred circle in which we can come together as a collective, as a community, and share positive intentions for whatever it is that we need, almost like a prayer circle. And I'd like to do this maybe once a month. So we'll just kind of see how this goes. But I feel like it's important to keep coming together as communities and keep building those intentions for peace, for love, for unity. Um, that's how we keep creating shifts in our energetic worlds and spiritual worlds, and also in the collective reality. That's going to be really important for us. I'm going to talk about this card color first, because the energy that I'm getting from this is it's the way in which you color your life, the way in which you color your world. And that comes down to perspective. It comes down to how it is that you are seeing, the lens through which you're seeing. What Spirit is actually showing me is a pair of sunglasses. I just got new glasses a couple of weeks ago, and part of the package was sunglasses, and they said I have an option of lenses, and I haven't gotten glasses in like 5 years. So I'm like, what do you mean lenses? And they said, well, with sunglasses you have different colors, so you can get, like, it looks red, it looks yellow, it looks blue. You have a choice as far as the lens color, pick whatever it is. But that's the kind of energy that I'm getting here, is you get to color your life, you get to color the world in the way that you choose by your energy. And what energy are you choosing? And this is going to go into what we channeled for the 2025 year ahead collective reading, is that what is it that you're choosing? Are you choosing lack and scarcity and victimhood and these lower density consciousness loops? Or are you choosing to look through the lens of empathy and compassion and acceptance and inclusivity? We have the card Up from the Depths, releasing difficulty. And what we had channeled in that video is how right now it seems like there is a lot of shadow that is being shown, a lot of toxic elements too that's being brought to light. And it needs to, right? We learn that on our own ascension journey, how the light is shown on the shadow in order to bring it to the surface to be healed. It has to be. We can't keep it in, whether it was ourselves or whether it's the earth itself, which came through, the energy of Mother Gaia came through in the reading. So whether it's ourselves or the global collective or the earth itself, there is this mass, number one, awakening, but also this mass purification, this mass clearing that is happening. And that only happens when we acknowledge what is being shown to us. And we do this in our own ascension journeys, right? You've gone through this, Divine Feminines. If you're if you're resonating with our readings, you've been through these cycles where you might have fear, or you might have grief, or you might have anger, and it's all coming up. And rather than suppressing that back down, you're being asked to acknowledge it, not avoiding it, not bypassing it, but really facing it head on and allowing yourself to see what is it showing to you. And any time that we're triggered, any time that that shadow comes up, it's because it's showing us where we need to fill those holes, is what I like to call them. It's showing us an opportunity to fill ourselves up more on that love. It's showing us where the separation is. And so what we're doing as a collective on this ascension journey, and when I say as a collective on this ascension journey, I mean the global collective. I mean, we're seeing this in our friends, in our family, with even outside of the spiritual community. What we're seeing is the unconscious that is rising to the surface, but the unconscious has to rise to the surface in order for it to become conscious. That's just how it works. It's just one of the laws of the universe. The unconscious has to become conscious. And that's where your superpower is. Your superpower is your awareness. When you become more conscious, then you're able to make more choices that are in alignment with yourself, that are in alignment with your truth, your soul self, your sacred self. And so that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of toxicity come up to the surface, a lot of people that are playing out in the unconscious fields. When I look at people now, it's very interesting having gone through this journey, and we're still evolving through this journey, but it's very interesting because I can literally see the inner child that is crying out. I can see the unconscious patterns and the unconscious programs that are crying out. And so that's where I try to remind myself, and sometimes it's difficult because humans and ego gets in the way, right? We are humans and we have to have that grace for ourselves too, but that's where we have to have compassion for others and where they are on their journey, that they might not be aware that they're playing out those unconscious programs. I see it all the time in generational patterns. I can see it passed down through the lineage. I can see the threads and how we follow those threads and where that leads. And it can be very overwhelming because you want to say to people, to the world, why can't you just get it, right? Why can't you just help yourself? Why can't you just do the work? Why can't you just heal? But everybody in their own time. And that's where we have to have grace, and that's where we have to have compassion, because the world is going through their own ascension, but everybody's at a different level. Everybody's at a different layer of their own ascension or awakening journey. And that's where we have to have patience and compassion and grace. And that is where, having gone through your journey, you are leading the way for other people. And that's why your embodiment of these energies, of those higher frequencies of grace and compassion and love and empathy is going to be so important, because you're holding space for people who are still or yet to go through the crux of their ascension. So that's why there's so much chaos, is because everybody's going through this ascension journey, their awakening journey. Ascension is just a higher level accelerated ascension. So everybody's at different stages. The earth herself is going through an ascension, and there's so much chaos because there's just so many different timelines playing out, so many different realities. And our ascension teaches us that we can hold all these truths. That's how we expand within ourselves. That's how we expand our nervous system, by healing our nervous system. That's how we expand our energy fields. That's how we expand our consciousness, being able to hold different timelines and different realities and different truths. Knowing that it all, at the core, it all comes down to the one. It all is unity, all of it. It might not look it on the surface, but that's where we have to allow ourselves to look beneath the surface. That's why this lens energy, this color energy is, what view are you looking through? Are you looking through the unconscious lens, or are you going to look through the conscious lens? Are you looking at divisiveness, or are you looking at unity? Are you looking at lack and fear, or are you looking at love? That's what your energy is. And the more that you embody that higher frequency, the more that has a ripple effect, and it helps to raise the consciousness of others. Okay. Wow. Let me catch up. Did not. I get so impassioned when I'm channeling, man. Okay. Even in the spiritual community, there is toxicity because there's spiritual ego. And the higher level of that, even spiritual psychosis. And so, I mean, that is part of what is fading away, especially on our ascension journey, is especially with this Pluto and Aquarius that we've just moved into. Anything that isn't aligned, anything that isn't authentic is going to fade away from our reality, or in our reality is going to crumble. And we're literally seeing that. You can just tune into any of current events. Anything that is not authentic is crumbling, is fading away, is being destroyed. And you're going to experience that in your own world too. And it can be very disheartening. It could be very disappointing, especially if you propped somebody or something up on a pedestal. But the important thing to realize is that nobody is above or below you, that everybody is where they're meant to be on their own path and showing you something about yourself. And so that's where your empowerment comes in. So it can be really disappointing and disheartening when you see something like that, something that you loved kind of, showing its true colors in essence, right? But that's where, you can take comfort in the fact that now you're going to align to something else that is more in alignment with you. You're going to resonate with some other people or a new community, or maybe even a new yoga program that is going to be much more aligned with you, because you're at a level where you are releasing what isn't in alignment and calling in what is. This is so interesting. Prophets and ancient seers, decisions, predictive guidance. It's so interesting because there's a lot of prophecy that is playing out. There's a lot of prophetic energies that are at play right now. The thing that I want you guys to remember is that is not something that is outside of yourself. That does not take away from your power. We have the power to create our own realities and to shift the timelines in any way. Just because a timeline is playing out or seems to be playing out in a certain way doesn't mean that has to be how it is. Otherwise, we're just neglecting our own power as creators. And that's why we're here, is just what Spirit said. That's why we're here in this community right now, is to remember that we have the ability to shift timelines. We have the ability to transform, even in our individual lives, but also as a collective, because what we do in our individual lives has an impact on the collective. And so it's like these global meditations that you do for peace, right? That has an impact. They have literally done studies on how that has an impact. And so rather than allowing ourselves, especially with our conspiracy theories, rather than letting ourselves get caught up in the consciousness loops of, well, this is a conspiracy theory and it's coming true, so it must be true, and all this evidence is piling up. Well, guess what? We don't have to attach ourselves to those stories. It doesn't have to be a continued reality. We can continue to shift our reality collectively, but that starts with each of us doing the inner work. It starts with each of us holding that energy of peace and unity and love. And so, what are they singing to me? Oh, okay, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's song, The Prophecy, there's a lyric, something that goes, I changed the prophecy. And they're singing that to me because we can change the prophecy. We get prophecies as ways to navigate. Okay, so when I'm doing my 2025 year ahead readings, and thank you to those of you who booked with me, and I hope that you enjoyed those. I very much enjoyed doing those. As we're doing the 2025 year ahead readings, I always say that it's based on the current energy, and that you have the power to shift your timeline. These are just foundations. These are just readings to help you navigate the potential year ahead. But it's your conscious choices that change that. It's your conscious energy that shifts the timelines in any way that you want. And so it's the same thing. These prophecies, these predictions are just showing us what is potential, what is possible. And Spirit is trying to, through our ascension journey, bring that power back to ourselves and say you're not beholden to something external. You're not beholden to what you think is your reality. You get to create your reality. And we've been talking about that in the Sacred Union Energy updates for the past couple of months, in that this is your empowerment. You are the empowered creator. And collectively, when we realize this, we literally have the ability to change timelines. We literally have the ability to change the world. We literally have the ability to change the prophecy. So I would challenge everybody to ask yourselves, where are you kind of just being submissive and saying, well, it is what it is, that I just have to, this is the prophecy, this is the prediction, and we can't change it. Challenge yourself and say, well, wait a minute, I can. I can, because I can change my energy. I can change my belief. I can change my view. I can change the way my world is colored. I don't have to look at this lack. I don't have to look through the lens of fear. I don't have to feel defeated or like a victim or helpless. I can change this within myself, and thus that has a ripple effect on other things around us. And I might not be able to see how far those ripples extend, but I can have faith that they do. I can trust that they do. And so that's this energy, is we can literally change the prophecy. And that's why we're here in this group today, to set the intentions for peace, for unity, for healing, in specific ways and in more vast ways. I'm just getting drawn to the bottom of the deck, and we have literally learning a new path. It's learning, comma, a new path, but like they're showing it to me like learning a new path. There is a new path. It doesn't have to be what we think it is. We're not stuck where we think we are.